I just came across a recent video that was showcasing what would be the most controversial cabin at sea. Well, my first instinct was to believe it couldn't absolutely be so bad, especially being a crew member that has been a part of many cruise lines. I must say, any cabins other than crew cabins must be a luxury. However, upon further inspection, here's what I found. It's supposedly that the most controversial cabin at sea is what is known as the Conservatory Mini Suite, which is on board the P&O cruise line. The reason for this is that this specific type of room has a balcony that is separated by the ship's promenade deck that has a very limited view of the ocean and of the ports when the ship is docked. Many passengers who book P&O cruises opt to avoid this type of cabin, but for the very unlucky few, this room would be somewhat inevitable if it is booked specifically or if you are on the guaranteed cabin option. The guaranteed cabin option assigns rooms that are generally cheaper, which are not occupied, and seems to be unavoidable this way, even though there are dozens if not more reviews that have been warning passengers to stay away from this particular type of room. There are some sneaky ways that P&O cruises can trick you into unknowingly booking this type of cabin, especially how it appears on their website, as the rooms there do not clearly showcase any of the room's disadvantages, such as no clear view of the ocean and the fact there is a promenade deck running along the outside of your room. The design of the cabin is very good and has adequate space with a very minimalistic and clean interior. But this doesn't especially mean that the room should be forgiven for its lack of privacy or for being a substitute for any of the other rooms. As with the same as many other cabins, you can also expect the room to have all the regular amenities you would necessarily have, such as the coffee maker, television in the room, a mini fridge, and a safe to store your personal belongings. Based on the other reviews, I can tell the inner room itself is of the least concern, as it is neatly designed and with a decent bathroom space and conservatory area. The conservatory area seems to be a separate landing space that is different from the room itself, but also different from the balcony area. So you can just basically say it's another room in your room, if that makes any sense. But what really makes this room so controversial, as some would say, is the fact that there is such limited privacy that is available once you book this type of room. You can consistently expect people day in and day out to be in and around the promenade area, which looks directly into your room. So you can unexpectedly find people loitering around your cabin, whether lounging about in the available chairs that are right outside of your room's balcony, people standing around, or you can even be awakened by passengers doing their morning strolls, jogging, and exercises. The reason this room is so heavily scrutinized is because of how different it is, especially when compared to the other available rooms on board. The room itself is great, but everything else outside is out of your control. Another big factor to consider is the rooms that are directly above yours, that can look directly down into your room's balcony, and this in itself can be a cause for concern as the safety issues from falling objects and such. So you'd always have to be mindful who's above you to not try and inflict any damage. The upside of the balcony is that it is quite spacious and seems big enough to hold maybe up to 6 people comfortably without any known issues. The storage areas of the room seems adequate enough to hold 2 persons' belongings quite easily. Anything over that seems to be a bit more of a struggle. So when compared, is the Conservatory Mini Suite as bad as everyone thinks? In this case, I would go against the run and say no, it's not all that bad, only if you are the type of cruiser who wants to spend all 24/7 in their cabin. Remember, you are on a cruise to not be in your cabin 24/7, but to go out and explore the ship, what it has to offer, plus to enjoy yourself in all the other locations on board. The only main concern of such cabin is that the fact the privacy level is very limited, and having people looking in or above you can be a cause to worry. But not only that, you can also expect to hear some very interesting noises coming from others on board, as per this clip by Emma Cruises. So what do you think? An experience like this can clearly leave you feeling traumatized from ever booking such cabins again. If you haven't touched that like button yet, I implore you to do so now, and leave a comment if you've ever mistakenly booked a cabin you didn't like or been inside the most controversial cabin at sea. Also, watch my next video that you may see here on the screen. It's Onik, your cruise employee, and I'm out.